Hello and welcome to the Comm Relay. On today's video I'm going to be looking at the specialisms for the Adeptus Mechanicus in Kill Team. Let's look at the specialisms for the Adeptus Mechanicus. We're going to start with the Scutari Rangers. So the Scutari Rangers and the Vanguard have exactly the same stat line. The main difference is the Vanguard have the rad saturation rule, so reduce the toughness characteristic of enemy models by 1 whilst they are within 1 inch of one or more models with this ability, which definitely makes the Vanguard a little bit better in close combat than the Rangers. But let's go back and look at the Rangers. So they can be a leader, so the Alpha can be a leader. They can have a gunner as a heavy. They can have comms, a scout, a sniper, and a zealot. So, zealots, it's not good for the Rangers. The Alpha can take some close combat weapons, but really, if you're going to have a zealot, you want it to be a Rust Stalker or an infiltrator, probably. Possibly a Vanguard, but I don't know. Sniper's a good choice. You can have the Transuranic Arquebus, or you can put it on plasma calibers or arc rifles. They've got a decent ballistic skill anyway, so re-rolling 1s is good. Yeah, they're an okay choice for a sniper. Scout, I don't see why you'd want them to be running towards the enemy. Comms is good. Basically, you'd have one sat with your sniper or with your plasma guns and just passing out that +1 to hit, especially with the Omnispecs, because it means you can have the same model ignore penalties for targets being obscured, and have a +1 to hit from the comms ability. So they're ignoring all penalties, which means generally with the Scutari you're hitting on a 3-up, which is nice. Heavy, so gunner only, that's pretty good. So the main advantage of the heavy is the plasma calibers. They're slightly different to your normal plasma guns, which are, I think, 24 inches rapid fire 1. So these ones are all assault 2. So that basically means as a heavy you ignore the penalties for shooting, for advancing and firing assault weapons. So a heavy ranger with a plasma gun, suddenly they can be very mobile with no penalties. Again, a leader, I generally find, I think a ranger is a good choice as a leader, because if you wanted to have a Vanguard leader with rad saturation and some close combat weapons, suddenly they're not terrible in close combat. So I would always choose the Ranger as a leader instead of the Scutari Vanguard, just to keep that slot open for an Alpha with maybe an Arc Maul. So you've got rad saturation, so it reduces enemy's toughness by 1, and then you've got maybe an Arc Maul or a Power Sword. So suddenly he's Arc Maul, he's Strength 5, only 2 attacks, but he's Strength 5, AP -1. Or maybe the Power Sword, so he's Strength 3, but the rad saturation will bring toughness of Space Marine down to 3. And you've got -3 AP. Again, I don't think they're the best close combat choice in the Scutari army, but it's not bad. So let's look at the Vanguard. So pretty much the same. So Zealot, Sniper, Scout, Comms, Heavy, Leader. Same Zealot, don't worry about it. Sniper, possibly. Again, they can take. That's the weird thing about the Rangers and the Vanguard, is they're pretty much exactly the same except for the rad saturation, and they cost the same points. So unless you want the galvanic rifle, which they come with as standard, they can take all the same weapons. The only reason I'd probably say take Rangers is if you really want the galvanic rifle for range, or you've got 3 plasma guns, plasma calibers in your team already, and you want 3 more, so you get 3 more gunners. So comms, pretty decent. The advantage of the Vanguard is they've got radium carbines, which are assault 3, So you can have a combat specialist who can follow your plasma gunners or keep in sort of like medium range. Again, we've got the heavy, so gunner only. So again, yeah, heavy with the plasma caliber can move up with the rest of your group and not suffer penalties. And leader, so yeah, this is the only time I would say, yeah, I wouldn't have him as leader. I would always take the ranger instead. Just because it leaves you open to having the close combat alpha. So 2 attacks, strength 5 with an arc maul. Your enemies are getting -1 toughness, so Space Marines toughness 3, so suddenly you're wounding them on 3s. AP -1, not great, but it's better than nothing. Also, they've got the pistol, which they can fire in close combat. So, for example, we've got, what's it, Radiant Pistol, Pistol 1. So yeah, Radiant Pistol's okay. What other pistols can they take? So, Arc Pistol. Okay, yes, we've got the Arc Pistol, which is pretty good. Strength 6, AP -1, 1 damage. Phosphor Blast Pistol, Pistol 1, Strength 5, decent, -1 AP. They ignore targets being obscured. So yeah, if you want your sort of more close range kind of specialist, they're pretty good. Let's have a look at the Sicarii and Ruststalkers. So you can be a leader. The problem with Kill Team is that because leaders give you the extra command point, it's not a good idea to put them in close combat, or it's not a good idea to put them in danger, at least. So I generally find my leader's going to be a Skitarii Ranger just sat in the back. They can be, so they've both got the same specialism, so combat, comm, scout, veteran, zealot. So you've got the zealot, so +1 attack, +1 strength in the charge. Ruststalkers already have 3 attacks, or 4 if there's a Princeps. That's 4 or 5 attacks on the charge at strength 5. Transonic Blades can give them +1 strength and make that a strength 6. But I generally find strength 5 is pretty decent enough. So generally, comms, a bit pointless. Scout, okay. Veteran, see, veteran's a good, interesting one because of the tactic that lets them move, basically take a free move or advance before the game begins. So if you suddenly want to put your Sicarii and Ruststalker or Infiltrator into charge range on turn 1, play the command point, advance them up, so they're moving 8 plus d6, so probably about 10, 11 inches, and then they can charge, which is a pretty disgusting distance. So yeah, but generally I'd have combat specialists, so +1 attack. So because the weapons don't have any armor penetration, and they've got a special ability which means on a wound roll of 6 up, they cause mortal wounds. You want to be doing as many attacks as possible. So, for example, Princeps charges in combat specialist, that's 5 attacks. And with the Transonic Blades, that's strength 5, which is pretty good. And then hitting on 3s. Even with the no AP, you can put pressure on power armor saves. The Infiltrators, pretty much the same. So they can't get they can get Taser Goads, which are +2 strength, which is pretty good. So they have slightly less attacks. So you've got 2 attacks on the basic one, 3 attacks on the Princeps. So combat specialist, it's going to be 4 attacks. With the Taser Goad, you've got 4 strength 6 attacks, and on a 6 to hit, they cause 3 hits, which is pretty good if it triggers. The main advantage is they've also got pistols. So I generally would say Zealot, because I'd probably take the Power Sword just for the AP -3, and then Strength 4, which means Strength 5 when they charge in as a Zealot, and then +1 attack. So they've got 4 attacks, well, 3 or 4 attacks on the charge at Strength 5, AP -3. Because of how fragile Add mecha, so toughness 3. I generally find it's good to get hits in first. So you want to charge in a Zealot, get your strength 5 hits off, and try to like put them down before they can swing back. Okay, so that's just a brief look at the specialisms for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Thank you very much for watching.